QMC can be overwhelming. There's a lot of sections. Each section has a bunch of settings. It's hard to tell which ones are important and which ones are rarely used, which is why I created this video. In here, I share the top 10 QMC sections that I use the most to give you an idea of which ones you can expect to see often. These 10 sections are where I spend probably close to 80 to 90% of my time. Let's get started and see what they are. So the first one is the users section. Users section is by far the most used section for me. I go here to control who gets access to what. As an example, if I bring up a user profile, you can see I have a ton of custom properties that I use for things like app access control, data connection creation permissions, task reload management permissions, data export permissions, and a bunch more. It's my go-to place for all user access related tasks. Speaking of tasks, the next most used section for me is the tasks section. Here I go largely to schedule and manage reload tasks for all of the apps. Besides app reload tasks, you can also set up tasks to kick off PowerShell scripts and tasks to distribute apps to Qlik Cloud. Task section is where you go to give your server things to do for you. In my case, it's mainly to keep my apps loaded with fresh data and my users in sync with user directory. Next one is apps. This is where you'll find the list of all of the apps on your server, both published and unpublished. I go here to do things like duplicate apps and change app owners, and also to control app-specific permissions like data export permissions, giving a group of users access to apps, and controlling sheet creation permissions. Next is the streams section. Streams section I use less often, but still quite often. If you need to create or delete a stream, this is the place where you would go. Besides that, I go to the stream section to control user group access and publish permissions. That's the stream section. Next is data connection sections. Data connection section I use primarily to change names of data connections. So Qlik did this thing where a username is added to a data connection name whenever a data connection is created or edited. I find that bothersome. I don't know why they did it. Data connections have owners and unique IDs. You and I can easily check the owner of a data connection and see who that data connection belongs to. So adding a username to a name of a data connection seems redundant. But for some reason, Qlik decided that data connections must have usernames in the name. I like my data connection names not to be cluttered with usernames, so I quite frequently go to the data connection sections just to remove the usernames from data connection names. Arguably, by doing that, I just create unnecessary work for myself, but I'm happy to take on that extra work to keep my data connection names clean. By the way, if you know why Qlik insists that data connection names must have usernames, let me know in the comments. I'd love to find out why they decided to do that. Okay, so that's my most used sections from the content group. In the resources group of sections, I use audit section the most. Audit section is probably the second most used section for me, right behind the users section. I constantly go here to check which user has access to which apps or streams and why. Audit section is very practical and very useful. I recommend getting familiar with it. Next, a section I use a whole lot is custom property section. As you've seen from the example I've shown from users section, I use custom properties a lot, and they do require maintenance. New apps are being published, old ones are deprecated, new streams are added, new groups are created. Whenever these changes take place, which is often, I go to custom properties section and update corresponding custom properties with new values. I create custom properties largely when I build a new server. Once a server is created, I rarely add new ones. So I go here mainly for the maintenance of values in existing custom properties. Next is the user directory connectors section. So this one I use often because of the LDAP filter. Now I set up my domain at howdash to have two user groups that hold all Qlik Sense users. I have Qlik Sense Pro users group, and I have Qlik Sense Analyzer users group. And these two groups hold all of my Qlik Sense users. Now, I don't have that many users, so it's easy for me to manage the setup. In the past, however, I worked for organizations that have groups that resemble departments like HR and finance and payroll. And I also often needed to import individual users. So I would regularly visit the user directory connectors section to modify the LDAP filter to either bring in or exclude export of or import of users and user groups. Security rules section is next. I don't visit security rules section too often. I aim to create a set of dynamic security rules when I build a new server, and these dynamic security rules generally allow me to control permissions with the help of custom properties. So I rarely create new security rules. But I do visit this section, especially when I build out a new server. And my 10th most used QMC section is the custom banner messages section. This I use mainly to let my users know of upcoming server maintenance window. Whenever I'm backing up or upgrading a server, I create a message and display it to users a day or two before scheduled maintenance, just to let them know that the server will be offline briefly. So those are my top 10 most used QMC sections. Like I said, I spend 80 to 90% of my time in these sections. Hopefully this gives you an idea of what to focus on if you're just starting to learn Qlik Sense server administration. And if you're a Qlik Sense Pro, I'm curious to hear how your top 10 most used QMC sections compare to these ones. All right, that's all for today. I'll see you tomorrow with another video sharing what I know about Qlik Sense to help you grow your Qlik Sense admin expertise.